Hey, you never know.
Paige VanZant, dime piece after a cage fight. It's worth a lot of cash, Dana White. That's an easily sell to America. And she fucked up a tattooed chick from another country. That's strong, you know?
Yeah.
And she fucked her up with a jumping roundhouse kick to the face, Dancing with the Stars foo style.
Revenge of the Hotties.
Look at this. Boom. She did one to the body there. Oh, look at that combination. There it is. Woo. Paige VanZant, number 10 now. What do you think she is now after this? She's got to be like number 7, right? She gets the big jump. That's a scary division. The top's got that motherfucker.
She's probably going to start acting. Start making
Paige
movies.
VanZant, she certainly could. She could quit right now. After that fight on Fox, that's a big deal to have that fight on Fox. Powerful Paige VanZant. Super marketable. Real nice girl, too. What's so funny?
That's a good opening line for like a hot chick. Excuse me, you're very marketable.
She's super marketable.
That's what you tell a girl.
Well,
right?
if a girl's in the sport,
you marketable.
A girl or a guy in this sport, you're in the sport for 2 reasons, right? You want to be competitive for sure, but 2 is you want to make a fuckload of money and get out while you can. And she was even saying when she realized when she was doing Dancing with the Stars, she did an interview recently where she was talking about she realized how much money other athletes make in comparison to fighters. And she wasn't complaining. She was just saying, like, I'm still blessed, but, you know, the UFC pays me more than any job I've ever had in my life. But, man, you find out what some athletes make in other sports. But
that's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it goes.
You know what I mean? This sport is in this particular period of development, and eventually the money will be there. But you know, for people to say that it's just the way it is,
it's going to be there for her, though, dude.
Yeah,
it's for sure going to be there for her.
That's the one. Look at how
she's laughing. She's laughing at missing her own kick. But what's funny is right after that,
she's like, "What?
Boom!" This is a crazy kick, man. This is like some Lyoto Machida type shit. That's a highlight reel kick.
Dude, his brother, Lyoto Machida's brother, fought in Bellator yesterday.
Chinzo, how did he do?
Dude, he's got some serious striking.
Nasty karate.
Dude, he threw an uppercut, clipped the guy one uppercut, and he fights just like him. That karate stance where they're jumping up and down, and it's like fencing, like a fencing stance. He looks legit. He's been hurt over the last few years. He's been working on his MMA career for a while, but
he's like 36, right?
38. His striking is legit.
Yeah. I watched him fight in something else. Might have been the RFA. What did he fight in before this?
RFA.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him fighting that. He looked real good, and he does look a lot like Lyoto, like a lot of the way he moves. And you know, I was thinking to me, man, it was something I was thinking when I was watching him fight in the early days. I was like, man, what a grind it is to get into MMA. You know, you got these guys that are really good at a sport, and then they get to a level. Is this him here? Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I saw some highlights of this online. Yeah,
look at the way he stands.
Exactly like Lyoto. Well, you know,
with confidence, and he throws bombs, dude.
They both learned from their dad.
See that little combo?
Yeah.
He did that another time, and really, I think he put the guy on his butt with it.
Damn, Chinzo looks good. I wonder why the UFC didn't sign him. Seems like that would be a good signing, you know? Sign this guy.
Bellator looked really good.
But you know what? A guy like this, you know, have a few fights in Bellator, and then maybe the UFC will bring him over, just like they did with, what's his name?
Eddie Alvarez?
No. Well, of course, Eddie Alvarez, for sure.
See that? Boom.
But recently, God damn it, why am I blanking on his name? He just won. He just beat somebody. I didn't call the fight, though. He was Bellator's champion at one point in time. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Will Brooks. Yeah, Will Brooks just came over from Bellator. It's like, you know, they're going to probably exchange stuff back and forth. Now Rory's over there. Rory McDonald just signed to Bellator. Dude, Rory McDonald versus Michael Paige. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yep.
I'm in. I want to see that fight. That's an interesting fight. I think that good competition is good. And I think that good competition like Bellator, I think it's good for MMA. It's good for the UFC. It's good for business. It's good for business, isn't it?
I agree.
We need a bunch of organizations. You know, there's a large potential for growth in this sport.
Bellator's probably number 2, right?
Oh, for sure.
Who's number 3?
Probably ONE FC. I mean, I don't know. It would have to be, World Series of Fighting does have some really good fighters, but doesn't get enough love for some reason. That's kind of interesting, right? It's on NBC
and then
Sports.
There's Titan, too.
Yeah. But, like, World Series of Fighting has Fitch. They had Paul Harris until they kicked him out.
Jake Shields.
They have Jake Shields. They got Marlon Moraes, who's a bad motherfucker. They got Justin Gaethje, who's a bad motherfucker. They got some good. They had Tyrone Spong. I don't know if Tyrone Spong is still doing MMA though. I think Tyrone Spong might have decided to go to straight boxing. He's doing really well in straight boxing. He's got nasty hands, man. You know, and
is that the guy Alan Joe Bond fought?
No. He's much larger. He's I guess essentially he's a light heavyweight if he was an MMA fighter, but he could fight heavyweight too. He's fought some pretty big boys. I would like to know what weight he fights at. I would imagine it would be in the 220s or something like that.
What's the latest with Mark Hunt? You know, he's been protesting about Brock Lesnar's test.
I don't know, man. It's a bummer.
Yeah, he's really
it's a
pissed,
bummer
right?
for him. Yeah, it's a bummer for him. You know, because that stuff that Brock tested for, I mean, it's not really a steroid. It's something that helps you bring your body back after your endocrine system shuts down. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take my word for this.
HCG?
It's clomiphene, I believe it's called. I think that's what they released. What that stuff is, an estrogen blocker, and it helps your body produce testosterone. And it could, you could be taking it for a legit reason, or you could be taking it because you need your body to re-kickstart its testosterone after you overdosed it. You know, you shut the balls down. So that's the real concern when people hear that someone was taking an estrogen blocker. They're like, okay, why? Apparently the John Jones story, which Red Band predicted hilariously, is boner pills.
How did he predict that?
Boner pills. Because Red Band has taken those boner pills a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And he said, dude, there's definitely steroids in them. They make you like crazy. He's like, there's a bunch of shit in there. Who knows what's in there? Like, you just buy these gas station boner pills. And that's what Brian said. And I said, what makes you think that? And he was like, well, because he likes to party, right? Like, John Jones tested positive for coke. He was like, people that like to do coke, they want to take, like, boner pills to get their dick hard. I'm like, oh, my God.
He nailed it.
I'm like, he nailed it. And he did. He nailed
That's some good CSI shit right there.
He should be an investigative reporter.
Yeah. He cracked the case. And he was right.
He was perfectly right.
So now people are going to forgive John Jones. Like, those are just boner pills. I mean, that's okay, right?
Well, there was even talk about how long the suspension would be for Brock Lesnar. It's all weird, man. It's real weird. And here's another thing about like things like Bellator. Somebody brought this up online on Twitter. Of whether Bellator gets tested by USADA. And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how they test or what they test. I know people have tested positive for some shit before at Bellator, but I don't know when and I don't know what commission, but I do not imagine in any way that it's as stringent as the test that the UFC does, right? There's no way.
It appears that, it appears that way.
Like Bobby Lashley does not pass the smell test. No offense, Bobby. You look like a hell of an athlete, but that looks like a guy.
For Bellator 158, they were tested by the Mohegan Department of Athletic Regulation for drug testing.
Okay, so that's Mohegan's son. That must be where the casino is. So they probably have their own athletic commission, and who knows what methods they use, and who knows whether it's just a post-fight test like they used to do in the UFC, and a lot of guys had figured out how to crack the system. I don't know. It's a good question. Who knows? It'd be an interesting choice for people that wanted to get some help. Didn't want to completely jump into this new school of constant testing. If they're like, how about you just test me after the fight and we'll just work this out in camp.